Chapter 1. Qin Feng. Grant me your 100 years of life, and I shall bestow upon you unparalleled divine powers. Will you accept? In the depths of the shadowy cold pool, Qin Feng, in a state of hazy consciousness, heard a chilling voice resonate in his ears. After a moment of contemplation, Qin Feng inquired, "How long will I live?" "Half a year," the mysterious voice replied candidly. This revelation. A tremor coursed through Qin Feng's heart. No one wishes for death, and he was no exception. Yet, as he recalled the vile faces that haunted him, a fierce anger ignited within him, and his gaze sharpened with intensity. Half a year is sufficient. And no sooner had Qin Feng uttered these words than a brilliant light erupted from the depths of the cold pool. A resplendent pearl slowly ascended before him, entering his body through his third eye. The pearl radiated a warm current, swiftly healing the grievous wounds that could have proven fatal. A formidable sword aura rapidly coalesced within his dantian. Simultaneously, not far above the cold pool, 5 men clad as guards, armed with blades and spears, scanned the surroundings. "Brother, Qin Feng's injuries are fatal, and he has plummeted from the cliff. There is no way he could survive. In my opinion, we should abandon the search," one of them remarked. The leading man furrowed his brow and coldly stated, "The princess has commanded we must not allow Qin Feng to return alive, for it would undoubtedly jeopardize the heir's claim to the throne." Upon hearing this, another man appeared conflicted and said, "That being said, Qin Feng has risked his life for the Jiang royal house over the years and has saved our brethren. Yet his reputation is too great, it poses a threat." The leader interjected sharply, "Qin Feng is not a direct descendant of the Jiang royal house, yet his renown surpasses that of the young master. This day was inevitable. Moreover, regardless of Qin Feng's character, once we have acted, there is no turning back. This time, we will poison him, ambush him, and then pursue. Given Qin Feng's temperament, if he survives, it will be us who perish." As he spoke, the man suddenly chuckled lightly. "Furthermore, the princess has promised a reward of 100,000 silver taels for bringing back Qin Feng's head. Our financial prospects cannot be obstructed by a mere hunted dog." The 5 exchanged knowing smiles. 100,000 taels of silver were more than enough for them to forget Qin Feng's past kindness. At that moment, the cold pool nearby rippled unexpectedly. After a few breaths, the tranquil surface was abruptly torn apart, and Qin Feng leaped forth from the cold pool. Qin Feng, his hair disheveled and his body drenched in icy water. His eyes glowed with an intense murderous intent, rendering him akin to a malevolent spirit emerging from the depths of hell, instilling dread in all who beheld him. The men instinctively inhaled sharply, raising their weapons while hastily retreating. Without uttering a single word, Qin Feng charged toward them. With his fingers poised together, he pointed forward. The razor-sharp sword aura erupted from his fingertips, piercing the air and consecutively impaling the chests of 4 men. In a single strike, he dispatched them instantly. Only the leader stood frozen in terror, unable to react until his companions fell one after another. "Second young master." As Qin Feng advanced step by step, the man instinctively retreated, his voice trembling in fear. In the next moment, Qin Feng seized the man's throat, applying pressure and forcefully pinning him to the ground. Gazing down at the man, Qin Feng thundered, 3 years ago, when you were pursued and left with no escape, it was I who brought you back to the Jiangwang mansion, allowing you to survive until today. I have treated you well, yet you conspired with that woman to betray me." The man, filled with shock and dread, turned pale in an instant. He could not comprehend how, despite Qin Feng being poisoned and gravely injured, he had not only survived but had grown stronger. Struggling in vain, the man quickly pleaded for mercy. "Second young master, this matter has nothing to do with me. I have spoken highly of you, but the princess insists on your demise. We are but servants, too fearful to defy her orders." Qin Feng scoffed coldly. "That woman seeks to eliminate me without tarnishing her reputation, targeting those closest to me. And you indeed have stabbed me in the back. A treacherous wolf that cannot be nurtured deserves no place." With that, Qin Feng exerted a sudden force, crushing the man's throat. Casually discarding the lifeless body, Qin Feng rose slowly, his eyes ablaze with a fierce hatred. 10 years prior, Qin Feng's mother had established the Jiangwang mansion. However, not long after, she announced that the throne would be passed to Qin Feng's uncle, on the condition that he treat Qin Feng well and transfer the throne to him upon his 18th birthday. Then, she vanished without a trace. For a decade, Qin Feng trained relentlessly, and in recent years, he fought fiercely for the Jiangwang mansion, amassing countless resources and earning the admiration of the younger generation. The Jiangwang publicly declared his intention to pass the throne to Qin Feng, gradually introducing him to the mansion's administrative affairs. Yet a month ago, a mysterious figure delivered news of a spiritual herb ripening outside the city. The Jiang immediately took Qin Feng to retrieve it, intending to help him achieve a breakthrough before assuming the throne. However, they encountered not the promised spiritual herb, but instead a multitude of assassins lying in wait. The outcome was tragic. The Jiang perished, and Qin Feng was knocked unconscious. Before losing consciousness, he clearly saw a figure. The Jiang Fei. It was she who orchestrated the death of the Jiang and deliberately allowed Qin Feng to survive, leaving him without a means to defend himself. Though there was no concrete evidence, it undeniably placed Qin Feng in the eye of the storm. He recounted the truth, yet no one believed him. Many who once supported Qin Feng began to shun him. Afterward, the Jiang Fei, wielding immense power, swiftly cut off Qin Feng's training resources and ruthlessly replaced all core personnel within the Jiang mansion. Today, she bribed his confidants, seeking to eliminate him once and for all. Forced to leap from a cliff to survive, had it not been for a frozen pool below, he would have perished. In truth, he had never held a genuine interest in the throne. Yet, this affront was something he could not swallow. Having failed to kill me, it is now your turn to perish. With a chilling voice, Qin Feng strode purposefully toward the direction of the Jiang mansion. In the northern region of the Qingyun realm, in Wushuang City, lies the Jiang mansion. Before his untimely demise, Lord Jiang conferred with me, expressing his concerns regarding Qin Feng's ulterior motives, deeming him unfit for significant responsibilities. Thus, it was resolved to revoke his claim to the throne and expel him from the Jiang estate. In 10 days, my son Jiang Wu shall return from the absolute Shadow Sword sect to assume the mantle of Jiang. In the grand hall of the Jiang estate, the Jiang matriarch, seated at the head, spoke with clarity. The attendees murmured amongst themselves, their expressions a tapestry of emotions. All were acutely aware of the reasons behind the matriarch's ruthless intentions towards Qin Feng. In but 10 days, he would reach the age of 18. Should Qin Feng remain, Jiang Wu's ascension would be fraught with illegitimacy and discord. Qin Feng must not be cast out at that moment. A frail yet resolute voice echoed from the entrance. The assembly turned to see a venerable matron with silver hair appearing at the threshold, supported by a maid as she entered with measured steps. Madam, the gathered individuals rose to pay their respects. The Jiang matriarch remained seated, her gaze icy as she regarded the approaching elder, a hint of disdain playing at the corners of her lips. The old matron, her brow furrowed, surveyed the assembly and declared, "In these years, which of the Jiang estate's ventures has not been stained by Qin Feng's blood? How can you unjustly label him and expel him at will?" At her words, the Jiang matriarch scoffed. "The reins of power in the Jiang estate lie firmly in my grasp. I shall expel whomever I choose." Hearing the veiled threat, the matron struck her cane against the floor. "Do not forget, your current prominence is a gift from whom? What if it was bestowed by your daughter?" The Jiang matriarch slammed her hand on the table, a cold smile gracing her lips. "I have nurtured Qin Feng for a decade. Without recompense, I have returned him to her. Moreover, the entirety of the Jiang estate is now under my command. Who dares to oppose my decisions?" The matron glanced around, hoping for a voice of support, but saw only averted gazes. In her indignation, she exclaimed, "You are, after all, Qin Feng's maternal aunt. I did not expect you to regard him as your own kin, yet how can you be so cruel? Taking advantage of his youth, seizing the inheritance left for him by Wainer, and now seeking to obliterate him entirely." With her mask of composure stripped away, the Jiang matriarch's face turned ashen, her voice rising in anger. "The Jiang estate is the legacy bequeathed to us by Jiang. It has no bearing on Qin Feng. The Grand Hall is a place for high-level deliberations. Guards, expel these interlopers." At this pronouncement, gasps of shock reverberated through the hall. The matron was, after all, the mother of Jiang. Though he had fallen, her status remained formidable. Who would dare to expel her? Seeing the hesitation among the assembly, the Jiang matriarch sneered, reminding them, "My son Jiang Wu has already caught the attention of the upper echelons of the Absolute Shadow Sword sect. He shall return in 10 days to claim the throne at that time. He may take one individual with him to train at the Absolute Shadow Sword sect." Her words ignited a spark of ambition in the eyes of the attendees. The Absolute Shadow Sword sect, one of the 4 great powers in the northern domain of the Qingyun realm, was a sanctuary of formidable warriors and countless tomes of knowledge. This was an opportunity to ascend to greatness. No longer hesitating, they turned their gazes toward the matron. Among them, a black-clad elder moved with swift resolve, striding forward to stand before the matron. "Madam, I implore you to leave at once." How dare you? The old lady exclaimed, both startled and enraged, her breath coming in sharp gasps. Leave. The old man in the black robe, anxious not to miss his moment to shine, thrust his palm forward, causing the old lady and her maid to stumble out of the hall. Yet at that very moment, a young man in a green robe suddenly appeared in the courtyard, his figure flickering with speed, and he caught the old lady and her maid just in time. Qin Feng had returned. Qin Feng, the instant she laid eyes on him, the princess consort of Jiang furrowed her brow. He's still alive? Everyone else's expressions tightened. Observing Qin Feng's tattered clothing and the blood staining his body, combined with the sudden decree issued by the princess consort earlier that day, they began to piece together the unfolding events. Moreover, they had been disrespectful to the old lady, and Qin Feng had witnessed it. They understood that with Qin Feng's temperament, a storm was about to erupt today. Grandmother! Qin Feng helped the old lady to her feet and abruptly turned to glare at the crowd in the hall. You beasts! Over the years, which one of you has not received my grandmother's kindness? Just after the death of the king of Jiang, how dare you treat her this way? You old bastard! I curse your ancestors. Before he could finish his words, Qin Feng stomped the ground, his body transforming into a bolt of lightning as he instantly appeared before the old man in the black robe, delivering a powerful punch. Qin Feng acted without hesitation, leaving the other party no time to react, and he was immediately sent staggering backward. As the old man in the black robe struggled to regain his balance and raised his head, a blade of sword energy rapidly expanded before him, piercing through his brow in an instant. The corpse of the old man in the black robe collapsed to the ground, his face frozen in terror, eyes wide open in death. Qin Feng's cold gaze shifted towards the princess consort of Jiang. You never imagined I would still be alive, did you? The entire hall was engulfed in a deathly silence. Everyone stared at Qin Feng in disbelief, their eyes filled with profound apprehension. The foundation of martial arts cultivation is the 5 realms of body refinement, refining the skin, bones, tendons, blood, and organs, followed by the gathering Qi realm. Although the old man in the black robe had recently entered the gathering Qi realm, Qin Feng was merely at the level of organ refinement, and there was a vast disparity between them. Yet, Qin Feng had effortlessly slain him in an instant. The power of that sword energy was utterly astonishing. How could such talent allow him to survive in this world? As this thought crossed her mind, the princess consort of Jiang abruptly stood up. Qin Feng, how dare you openly assassinate an elder? You have rebelled. Someone kill him. Upon hearing this, many experts in the hall turned their gazes towards Qin Feng. Anyone who isn't afraid of dying, step forward, Qin Feng declared, and as his gaze swept across the room, everyone stood frozen, too terrified to take another step closer. After all, the corpse of the old man in the black robe was still warm. No one wished to follow in his footsteps. A bunch of spineless wretches. Qin Feng scoffed, retracting his gaze. Turning once more to the princess consort of Jiang, he spoke coldly. You conspired against the king of Jiang, usurped power, eliminated rivals, and distorted the truth. Are you not afraid that, in the stillness of night, the spirit of the king will return to seek vengeance? Upon hearing these words, the princess consort of Jiang appeared as if her tail had been caught, briefly startled before she retorted sharply. Nonsense. The king of Jiang was killed by you otherwise. How could you have survived? Utter nonsense. Qin Feng spat disdainfully and exclaimed, if one wishes to keep their misdeeds hidden, they must first refrain from wrongdoing. In your quest to pave the way for Jiang Wu, you have not hesitated to murder your husband and usurp his position, intending to reduce the Jiang royal residence to a mere subordinate force of the shadowless sword sect, sacrificing everyone as stepping stones for him. Today, I shall cleanse the Jiang royal residence. The Jiang princess consort clenched her teeth in fury. Despite her meticulous planning, she had not anticipated that Qin Feng would return alive. With fiery eyes fixed on Qin Feng, she bellowed, cleanse the residence? The first to be dealt with should be you. You, who know no hierarchy, born of your mother's indiscretions, unable to even clarify your father's identity, ultimately abandoning you. The upper beam is crooked, and so is the lower beam. You and your mother are of the same ilk. Before she could finish her words, the Jiang princess consort's expression suddenly changed drastically. Qin Feng seized a folding stool from the corner and hurled it violently. You dare strike me, you wretched spawn? Strike you? I would gladly slay you this very moment. Before the words had fully escaped his lips, Qin Feng had already lunged before the Jiang princess consort, raising his hand to strike. Chapter 2, Tension Mounts. Smack! The sharp sound of a slap echoed through the grand hall. Though cunning and vicious, the Jiang princess consort was of low strength. She could not withstand Qin Feng's furious blow, resulting in 2 teeth flying from her mouth. Blood spilling forth, I allow you to insult me. Qin Feng's eyes blazed with fury as he landed a series of slaps, more than 10 in total. Her once sharp and acerbic face now swollen and bruised. Ah, this is insufferable. Someone kill him. The Jiang princess consort cried out hysterically from the ground. Protect the princess consort. A voice rang out, and Qin Feng, sensing a malevolent wind at his back, spun around to find a sharp sword thrusting towards him. Without flinching or evading, a fierce glint flashed in his eyes as he grasped the incoming sword with his bare hand. Ignoring the excruciating pain, he exerted force, snapping the blade in half. With a swift motion, he raised the broken sword, not targeting the assailant, but the fallen Jiang princess consort. After all, he had but 6 months to live. Even if it meant trading his life, he was determined to eliminate this detestable woman. With a whoosh, the glint of the blade flashed, severing a row of fingers that fell to the ground. The Jiang princess consort screamed in agony, curling into a ball, nearly fainting. Yet Qin Feng, still seething with rage, aimed the broken sword at her throat. However, just as the blade was about to descend, a tall figure suddenly appeared in the hall, raising a hand to strike down upon Qin Feng. Raising his head suddenly, he saw the palm strike approaching. Instinctively, Qin Feng raised his arms in defense, only to be forcefully repelled, retreating until he nearly reached the entrance of the hall. Qin Feng, you have gone too far. The furious voice sent shivers through the hearts of all present. The speaker was an elderly man, his hair and beard as white as snow. Upon recognizing him, the assembly quickly bowed. We pay our respects to the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder fixed a steely gaze upon Qin Feng, his eyes glinting with murderous intent. The Jiang King has only just passed, and you dare to act so audaciously towards the princess consort? Such blatant disrespect for your elders cannot be tolerated. The sense of foreboding enveloped Qin Feng. The Grand Elder, once a trusted confidant of the King of Jiang, had immediately aligned himself with the king's consort following the latter's demise. Though he possessed a somewhat self-preserving disposition, his cultivation had reached the formidable 5th level of Qi gathering, marking him as one of the elite experts within the Jiang royal household. The hasty strike he had just executed had clearly not been delivered with full force nonetheless. It left Qin Feng's arms numb and weakened. He was no match for him. How dare you? At that moment, the old matriarch stepped forward, her visage aflame with indignation as she directed her ire towards the Grand Elder, exclaiming, if you wish to take Qin Feng's life today, you must first extinguish this old woman's. Upon finishing her declaration, she erupted into a violent fit of coughs. Noticing the old matriarch's defiance, the Grand Elder's countenance shifted, and he refrained from retorting. In response, the consort of the King of Jiang hastily rose, her voice a crescendo of desperation as she cried out, Grand Elder, you have witnessed it. Qin Feng has already caused the demise of the king, and now he seeks to kill me as well. Pay no heed to this old crone. Swiftly eliminate Qin Feng. The malignant tumor will never be eradicated, and the residents of the Jiang King shall remain in turmoil. A malignant tumor? You speak the truth. Qin Feng exclaimed in fury. But the true malignancy lies not within me, but within each of you. He raised the broken sword in his hand, casting his gaze upon everyone present in the hall. And with a thunderous voice, he rebuked, throughout these years, on which day have I not fought tirelessly for the Jiang residents? Yet what of you? Each of you, living in indulgence, perched high above, casting judgment while reaping the rewards. To the outside world, you present yourselves as submissive as a dog. Yet you are fierce only towards your own kin. It is clear to all who truly conspired against the Jiang King. You merely wish to defy the very